What's up, JFW family? Welcome back to the Channel 23 podcast. The purpose of this podcast is to reach out and touch the fleet, to engage and inform everyone with all things JFW. Welcome back to episode 56. Brother Jim, Brother Dave, and Super Dave. How you doing, man?
Morning, everybody. Good.
Awesome. Good morning.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Feels good to be back in the studio. It's been 3 weeks.
Two
and a half.
Two
and a
for
half
sure,
weeks.
right, Jim?
Yeah.
Two pre-recorded episodes.
Yep. Lauren commented on one of my Facebook posts. She said she was listening to the podcast and she thought I was already hunting and got something. And yeah, pretty funny.
That was a good one.
Yep. Let's see. Might as well kick it off with the Pledge of Allegiance.
All right, everybody can join along. Take off your hats.
Yep. Stand up if you can, right?
There you go.
Yep. Hand over your heart.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So we have them down as a shout out later, but we should talk about it now since we just did the pledge. But your buddy Paul Lanzini, I'll let you tell the story, Jim.
Yeah.
Dave, or
Actually, while we were on getting a couple of pickups last weekend, Paul called and talked to Dave, and Dave missed his phone call while we were traveling there, and then Dave called Paul back, and Paul just said how much he enjoyed the podcast and was just reaching out to let us know that and let Dave know that and stuff, and he just really enjoys it. That's all there was to it. Saying the Pledge of Allegiance, takes his hat off.
Yeah, that just kind of cracked me up when he said, you're by yourself in the truck. I don't know that by myself sitting down like that I would even think to take my hat off. And when he said that, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. I like that. So.
Yeah, gave me a little bit of a visual. And he said he'd even stand on the step of the truck if it wasn't 1995 again.
Well, we appreciate your patriotism, Paul.
Yeah, thanks, Paul.
Yep.
Yeah, and you did ask him if there was anything we could change too, right, Dave?
Yeah,
I thought it
yeah.
had safety tips, was pertinent. So
Yeah.
it was
Nice.
good feedback.
What's he do? Where's he at?
He's in Florida
Yeah.
working for a landscape yard, Dave.
It's a small ma and pa yard. Pat used to work there with him, and when he was down in Florida, and a lot like our company, they do. I think they have a handful of yards, but landscape supplier and delivery and
Kind
stuff.
of like a pioneer.
Yeah, no, spot on, exactly like a pioneer. Yeah.
Gotcha. Cool. Well, as a reminder, anything you hear on this podcast is not the opinion of JFW's. It's just our opinion. When I say our opinion, it's Brother Dave, Jim, Super Dave, and my opinion. Super Dave's looking at me like, I don't agree with your opinion.
Hey, let me tell you what I think.
Because it's going to be a very controversial podcast here.
Man, it looks like Dave's ready. It's looked like he's a Ford owner and just heard that Ford joke because his arms are all folded.
You know what?
He looks a little
Drives a Super
Almost
Duty.
about that
disgruntled.
joke is when he cut down Dodge at the end. He's like, "You must be on a budget." It's like, wait a minute.
I thought you'd like it. You're about the only GM driver here now, Dave.
Well, James Peacock asked me that yesterday. He goes, "What's up with all these Dodges and you're driving a Chevy?" And I'm like, "Well, it's what we got."
Got to stand out, right, Dave?
My expressed opinion.
Yep.
I identify as a Dodge. Funny.
Aw.
So, hey, episode 54 and 55 were pre-recorded. I just combined the totals. They were both of the over 300 downloads while I was gone. So, combined, they had 654 downloads, and we cracked the 20,000 total downloads.
Wow, that's awesome, huh?
Yeah.
20,000.
Sweet.
Yeah,
That is really cool.
Pizza party.
And we're what, a couple over a year? Is that what we ended up?
Yeah, we're probably about, we're at 56, so
But
if,
we
yeah,
missed a couple, we
we're
thought,
like
right?
one week past, 2 weeks past.
We should celebrate with a Thanksgiving breakfast.
We should. I wish there was somebody here who could organize that.
And they did a great job.
They did.
They did.
Yes, they did.
It would have been good after the podcast, too. Like if we did it, like started early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a lot of things going on this morning, though.
There's a lot of stuff going on all the time, isn't there,
There
Jen?
is. There is.
mean,
Tell you
Never
what, there
ends.
was last night.
Yeah, last night,
Oh,
this
shit.
morning,
Yeah.
it just seems
It takes
All-
a village.
all the details.
Yep. We also we're up to 147 followers. So, good job, everybody.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
You guys know what they call a blind dinosaur?
I don't know. Eyeballosaurus. I don't know.
That was good, Jim.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
It wasn't right, but it's a. Do you think they saw us? Do you think he saw us?
I liked mine better.
Yeah. Wah, wah.
Yeah, I've got a couple that are
See,
inappropriate.
I got away from the gun puns and the hunt jokes, and that's what happens.
Right.
Going back to my roots next week.
Which is,
Hunting and gun puns.
I thought you had just evolved to those.
Yeah, you could say that. I'm going back to that, no matter how you look at it.
Well, I'm kind of rolling out with the current joke as far as since tomorrow's Thanksgiving, and you guys all know coronavirus is on the rise. I mean, my wife was just homesick with it last week. I didn't catch it, thank goodness. I know we have a couple people off here right now. Veronica and
Alonzo
are off, and a couple other people have had it. And anyway, so with all that going on in Thanksgiving, do you guys know what's likely to be the most popular side dish this year at Thanksgiving?
Nope.
The masked potatoes.
Man. Sorry, everybody.
That was awesome. Best one.
Let's say
Man, Super Dave, he's thinking he's got a joke this week.
Well,
he's been laughing last night. He read it like 3 times this morning, and every time he read it, he just started cracking himself
He
up.
read it to us up here, so he's ready. For
Oh
it.
no, that was another one. I'm not
that's
using
another
that
one.
one.
I hope
This
it's
was better.
that good because I need to get a copy of it and put it on my phone so when I'm crabby I can just stop and read it and make myself laugh.
right.
Like change my mood up.
Well, I have a joke that was called in this morning from Dennis Viscara. In fact, when Dennis called me this morning, it was right at 5 o'clock, and I seen his name pop up on my phone. I was like, oh, wonder what Dennis is running this morning because he's calling. And then I kind of just remembered that Dennis isn't here anymore and retired. And, after
I thought for sure he'd be looking for his keys.
right, absolutely. So Dennis's joke is, truck driver's driving along and he calls dispatch and he goes, "Hey, I just hit a bear. What should I do?" And the dispatch is like, "Oh," he said, let's not make a bigger deal out of this." He said, "Just bury the bear and let's get going. Let's keep going." So the truck driver buries the bear and calls dispatch and goes, "Okay, I've buried the bear." And the dispatcher was like, "Well, just let's get going." And the truck driver was like, "Well, what do I do with his car?"
Here's your time, Dave. No, Dave, you're supposed to go wah, wah, wah.
I know.
Okay, can I give you another one?
Yeah,
Please.
let's hear it. Redeem yourself.
Yeah.
All right. So, since we're on the truck driver thing, what is a truck driver's favorite part of the movies?
I don't know.
The Holloway, I don't know.
The trailers.
Oh man,
I love
Now,
trailers.
that's a good
I
one.
just now
Oh,
put that together. I
Yeah.
love watching trailers.
Trailers, right?
I mean, I love watching trailers. That's
Truck driver
funny.
at heart.
We love washing trailers.
Watching.
at the theater.
Right.
Do you ever go see the movies that are being advertised?
No, I just watch on my phone or on YouTube, Dave. All the new movies that are coming out, or
But
like Friday night or something, Saturday night when you're hunting for a movie to watch. I'll right there on whatever we're watching. It's like, oh, let's play the trailer. Let's play the trailer. And I'll play trailers for 20 minutes. Janet goes, "Are we going to watch a movie or what?"
Soup, what do you got?
Well, this one's good. You guys are going to like it. A pirate and a sailor were exchanging stories. The sailor pointed to the pirate's peg leg and asked, "How did you get that?" And the pirate said, I wrestled a shark and lost me leg." And the sailor pointed to the pirate's hook and asked, "How did you get that?" And the pirate said, I fought Redbeard's crew and lost my hand." Then the sailor pointed to the pirate's eye patch and asked, "How did you get that?" And the pirate said, a bird came by and pooped in me eye." And the sailor said, "Well, that's not very impressive." And the pirate said, That was the first day with me hook.
Man, the best part about Super Dave's pirate jokes is he's making a pirate face while he's doing it.
I just want to know where he got that patch.
You can take your hook off now. Holy shit. Role playing.
What's that?
We
What's
just
that?
we just lost several listeners
Yeah.
just now
What's that?
Hey!
over all those jokes.
Yeah, what's that sound coming down the hall? Oh, that's Super Dave.
New employees, we got Tyler Amaliko, Rock Goodall, Rodrigo Ocon, and Gabe Colmonero. Gabe's been here before, so welcome back, Gabe, but welcome Tyler, Rock, and Rodrigo as well.
Absolutely.
Nice.
Welcome, you guys.
Welcome aboard, you guys.
Yep. Celebrations for anniversaries, we got Emilio Camacho. He had his 2 years today. Happy anniversary, Emilio. And then birthdays, James Gallegos just had a birthday on the 20th. Big Country, Steve Jackson, his birthday's today. And Omar Santa Cruz has his birthday on the 25th.
Happy birthday,
Very
guys.
nice. Happy birthday.
Yep. Happy birthday. Happy anniversary.
Yep. No family birthday celebrations this week, so we'll get back to your loved ones next week. Shout outs. We got Georgie P. He's been power listening and is at episode 33. So good job, George. You're probably
Yeah,
Yeah, way to go, George. Power
loving
listening.
them.
Some of the good
That's
ones.
what Holly's been doing, and she said yesterday she
all caught up.
Yeah, she's all caught up. Last 2 episodes yesterday.
Nice
Nice.
job, Holly. Thanks for putting up with us.
Right.
And then Darwin Zalavaria, he used to work here. He listened to Dennis's podcast. Well, he probably listens to them all, but he wanted to comment on Dennis's episode. He said, great podcast, Dennis, and you could count on him when you start your own podcast. And shout out to Darwin for listening. He's been gone for a few months, and we appreciate you listening. So
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
always liked Darwin. He was a good guy.
I did too.
Yeah.
Did things the right way when he left, too, which is important. Mm-hmm. And then,
Go ahead.
No?
You got more that aren't on here?
yeah, I got Chris Beam.
Oh, that was what I was going to do. Okay.
Well, why don't you do it?
Just a shout out to Chris Beam, 0076. He lost his mom a week and a half ago. Chris, our thoughts and prayers are with you and wish you the best. I hope it's not too difficult getting through this first holiday here. It's came pretty fast and furious to absorb everything. So
Absolutely.
best of luck, man. Hang in there.
And
Yeah,
then Chris
absolutely.
Beam actually wanted to give a shout out to everybody who's texted and supported him through his mom's passing. So, shout out to Chris and shout out to the people that are concerned.
Good,
Very- very
good
cool.
stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Jim, you want to give away some money?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it. How about 0185? 0185.
0185. Got it. All right. Whoever that is, good luck. I hope you claim your $100.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about some things we got coming up. One of the major things we got coming up the end of this year, the beginning of the new year, is open enrollment. Jim, you got any information on that?
I do have that up there. I know last year we talked quite a bit about it, and we always say what a can of worms health insurance is and stuff. And this year we switched to a new agent, and the agent's been super helpful in going over the stuff, getting quotes, educating us about the stuff. It's been really, really a pleasure working with him and his company so far. So for open enrollment, everybody, and I think this is really good news. There's a few changes, quite a few changes in the coverage that we're going to offer, but we are going to switch to Kaiser. I know we were at United Health, so there will be a switch of a company to Kaiser. And what we're going to do is Kaiser has several plans that we're going to offer to you guys. So the first plan is pretty much a match to what we've had, same deductible, same kind of coverage, same co-pays and things like that. Then we're going to offer an upgraded plan from Kaiser that we'll continue to pay for the employee, but if the employee would roughly like to pay, and don't hold me to this figure, might be a little more, a little less, but basically $40 more a month out of their pocket, along with what we're matching, there's an upgraded plan, which is quite a bit lower out of pocket.
Nice.
But it does change your co-pays and stuff. But all that information will be in Paycom, and it'll be visible. And to me, that's putting the power back in all the employees. And then we're also going to offer an HSA, which is a health savings account, which that's something you can put money in, and that continues to grow, but can always be used only for your health needs. And then there's an FSA that we're offering, which will be a flex spending account. That has to be used by the end of the year. That doesn't carry through.
Right.
So 3 plans right there just on our health coverage that you guys can decide what to do with. And JFW will still be, participating in that and paying the employees. And then we're going to change companies along with the new coverage here at Kaiser. We're going to go with Lincoln, and they have vision, dental, short-term, and long-term. Our vision coverage will stay about the same prices as what it's been. And then the dental, we're going to be able to offer 2 dental programs. One will be about the same thing as what we've been paying. And then one's an upgraded one, and I think it was, I don't know, you guys, I think $6 a week, $7 a week more, but it covered orthodontics and implants. So if you have a child or something that needs braces or anything like that, I do remember looking at that, and that was $2,000 out of pocket for lifetime of your brace needs or whatever you need. So good options there. And then the short term and long term, I know the employee pays for that, but there's been quite a savings with the new company in that. So all the employees, if you have long term or short term, should see the savings in that. And then also, if you were interested in getting long term or short term, it's more reasonable than it's ever been with this new company. So
Nice.
Good stuff. And the only thing that we're going to have to change, and if you want to consider it some bad news with all these changes, is everybody paid $1 a day, $7 a week is what it was. We're going to have to go ahead and switch that to $2 per day. So $14 a week out of the employee's paycheck to help cover the different plans and things. It's just participation to help JFW as we help you guys offer offer these different plans. But I know when I looked at the second plan for Kaiser for the robust, it's quite a deduction in out of pocket for a minimal amount per month or per week. I think lots of people will be interested. It gives everybody choices, and like I said, that'll all be in Paycom. You can make your choices. We're going to have a meeting next Thursday, if you want to call it a driver's meeting, for the East Yard here at 5 a.m. And people from Kaiser and Lincoln, they're going to come out, talk about the plans, go over the different coverages, and then they're going to make it active in Paycom so that you can see that.
Nice.
And then probably, and we're not set on this, for Yard 23, the same group of people will be back out at 5 p.m. in the afternoon and meet at Yard 23. So everybody we'll talk some more about it next week in next week's podcast before Thursday. But everybody kind of has to plan on trying to be here Thursday, December 1st, 5 a.m. to get some more information on the coverage. And that's open enrollment, too, what they call open enrollment. And you can't bug Joanne about it yet because she doesn't have all the books and stuff. Mm-hmm. We're about to get those in next week. So good. I'm excited about it. It's probably some of the best coverages we've ever been able to offer.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up with health insurance, just to keep up with the rate increases and everything else like that. One thing, and I hope I'm not out of line talking about this, but when I sat in on that meeting, it sounds like you could still see your own doctors the first year.
That was my last note here, Jim. I wanted to bring that up as you started to talk. So they went ahead and they came back to us 2 years, Jim.
Oh,
okay.
Sweet.
Yep, and it's going to be, so if you had a doctor you really liked, they're going to offer 10 visits for the first year, 10 visits for the second year to go ahead and see your doctor. I mean, the only downside to it is you will have to pay your doctor for that visit, and then Kaiser will reimburse you. Now, as far as the 10 visits, though, we just have to be careful. So if you go to your doctor, that's one visit. If they send you to a specialist, that's 2 visits,
Right.
not just an individual doctor.
But it does cover specialists too. So if you go straight to your specialist,
Straight to your specialist.
you
That's-
don't need a referral. There's no reason to do that.
Nope,
So-
that's one visit, and that's going to be covered from Kaiser, a reimbursement.
Nice.
And most people don't offer that, or insurance companies. And we were with Kaiser in the past, and always a good company. You had to be an advocate for yourself. But in anything, you should be an advocate for yourself. And they really stepped up. They want to have JFW's business back, and it's nice to be needed. And like I said, I don't have Steve as the agent that we're dealing with. I should give a shout out to his company. But yeah, just good stuff. It feels good to do health insurance instead of just a killer every year, right, Dave?
Yeah.
It's still a scam, but
Still a racket.
it's less painful. Let's
Yeah.
put it that way.
It's been enjoyable having this agent.
Yeah.
For sure.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some people that have had Kaiser before may not be too excited about it. I know Kaiser's come a long way. I had it a long time ago. I hated it. I had it again. It wasn't nearly as bad. So maybe it's improved more. Gerardo Sanchez was asking at the Fuel Owl either yesterday or the day before, like, what's going on with health insurance? Don't tell me we're getting Kaiser. And it's like, well, I'm not going to say anything then, because that's what we're getting,
Yeah.
But you can use your own, your current doctor for 2 years. It sounds like that's great. And who knows what will be in 2 years. So,
Yeah, hopefully this is something, though, by the switch with Kaiser that we'll be able to stay with in 2 years. And,
Right.
instead of having to switch and do all that stuff, Jam, it would be nice to find a home.
one of the nice things about Kaiser is you go to one building and everything's right there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a one-stop shop.
You get your scripts there. You see your doc. You'll see your specialist. I mean, you could spend the whole day there.
Yeah.
It's like a shopping mall.
I think one of the things for me that's discouraging about health insurance is we can never please everyone.
Right.
I mean, it's here's what you get. And that was the reason, over the last year we've had so many people come to us and go, "Oh, why don't you get this? Why don't you get that? Why don't you get this?" And it's like, "Hey, now here, this is what we're providing. Why don't you get that? And why don't you get that? And why don't you get that? Because here it is as an option."
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
I think that path was a lot easier. It felt a lot better because we just can't make everybody happy.
Right.
And that's the painful part when you try and do that. It's like, another unsatisfied customer.
Yeah, and
it's like when we pay, I mean, the amount of money we pay is ridiculous.
Little over 780,000. Dave,
Yeah,
was the quote.
and either the deductible is too high or it's not good enough, or you know what I mean? And,
yeah, they don't
and-
cover this medicine, and my last guy did, or whatever.
And I'm just as guilty. You know what I mean? I am just as guilty because I go in and I'm like, "Are you kidding me? I didn't get this, or I had to pay how much for a prescription?" And then for me, it's a double whammy because I'm paying and our company is paying. It's like,
Right.
Are you kidding me? This is ridiculous, And you guys have heard me say it before. It's a scam.
Yeah, and the thing too, Dave, is we're trying to make the masses happy, not that individual.
Yeah.
We can't, when we deal with anything, we look at the masses and what that affects all of us,
Right.
and not one individual. And again, the thing about insurance is just like your automobile insurance, your life insurance is if you don't use it, it's expensive, but you use it that one time, or you need it that one time.
Then it goes up and gets really expensive.
Yeah, but at least you're covered.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
not.
No, I've
you
said
know,
that 100 times. I mean, okay, so we have an $8,000 maximum out-of-pocket expense, but you had a $300,000 health situation that was all paid for, and you paid $8,000.
Yeah.
That seems like a pretty good deal. I know if I was an investment guy and I said I could give you $8,000 and you could turn it into $300,000, that's a hell of an investment. I just made a ton of money if you look at it like that.
It sucks for the person who had an $8,000 medical bill.
Yeah, yeah, no,
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
that's what I mean, Jam. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
terrible.
I wasn't happy last year. And then, Jim, I heard you say that quote, like, we did it for the masses, not for the individual. I'm like, well, that makes sense. I need to step away from myself a little bit. I had a weird situation where it cost me money, and it was a little hard to swallow. But when you look at it, 150 families we're trying to take care of, we got to do what's good for the majority.
Yeah, and the thing too is we were, as a company, we were pretty much relatively healthy last year, Jam, and I can't remember the exact figure, 82 or 87 of us or something like that, never used it.
Yeah, that's good.
And
that's the other part.
look at the money we're spending, everybody's spending, and you didn't use it?
Right.
Wow, just killer.
Yeah.
Killer, yeah. Yeah, it scares me when you look at those numbers that the insurance companies are making.
Right. No doubt. Well, let's talk about some broom business. Super Dave, how do we make brooms last forever?
Boy, take care of them like you own them. That's the
That'd be a good way.
best idea, because I had the same broom for 8 years. I don't know. And some of these guys come in every couple weeks saying, I need a new broom. I need a new broom. Brooms are expensive, you guys. You know, brooms are like $35 a piece. And we go through hundreds of brooms in a season. And you can't throw them into the trailer. You can't throw them out of the trailer. You can't beat on the side of the trailer with them to knock the ice off. They're for just brooming sand or some rock out of the back. You can't use it to push
They're for sweeping.
6 inches of snow, you know.
Yeah.
They're for just brooming. If you
Sweeping.
have 6 inches of snow, you need to use your shovel.
Yeah.
You know, if you have a foot of frozen sand in there, you need to use your shovel.
Yeah,
They
like
just they're overpowering them. They're trying to just push too hard and breaking them. I mean, it's tough.
I think one of the biggest things that'll break them is A, throwing them in and out of your trailer.
Yep.
But also B, using them to like bang your Z track out. I don't
Yep.
know how I know about that, but that's not a good idea.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, you guys. I don't want to. Well, I will end up jumping ahead here, but I look down the list here, and it's all wasteful money that we're talking about and tearing things up. So we have, you know, the brooms, you know, throwing them out or throwing them in or trying to push all that snow, and you break them. They're so expensive, and you're right, Dave. I don't know how many brooms we've bought over the last couple years, and trying to be a good company, trying to be a better company, supply that kind of stuff. But the next thing is release agent for the frozen loads. We're getting right into the main season of frozen loads in the morning, and we've got 2 or 3 sprayers that already don't work, and we just bought them. They've got the hoses ripped or they've been dropped out of the trailers. So there's something we're trying to look at. You know, the roads are dirty right now. You might be in and out of muddy roads and doing that kind of stuff. That's just extra time and expense for the wash bay, trying to clean your truck up. Mud flaps, tearing off the mud flaps, backing over the pile. That's just, mud flaps should never be torn off. That's just a waste of money.
Yeah, and I think we lost 3 yesterday or something.
Yeah.
2 for sure.
Yeah,
maybe
and
3.
you don't back over the little trails of frozen material.
Yeah.
They're tougher than the rubber. Don't spin your tires and in the yard or in the snow. I think that's what that has to do with. And then on the brand new trucks, we've got this habit of laying our big ass heavy cell phones on the dash, and it's up against that great big LCD display, and it's scratching the shit out of the plastic on the deal. And I know we wanted to go through every one of these, but God, just help us out, you guys. You know, we're trying not to tear this shit up, and it just costs so much money. Things are so
what
expensive.
seems like common sense doesn't seem so common.
Yeah. I mean, we have sayings for all sorts of stuff, but this is just, and it doesn't look good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Backing in and tearing the mud flap off. That should just never happen. You look in the mirrors, and if your mirrors are dirty, get out and clean your mirrors if you can't see the back of the trailer. Do something. Tossing that broom out of the, 10 feet up in the air, the top of the trailer? Let it bounce on the bottom, and it's
Every bit.
And everybody complained when we got shorter brooms. So when they hit the ground, they didn't break. But a 24-inch broom or 22-inch, whatever it is, it just snaps right off when you hit the edge of it.
Yep.
Yeah, a typical broom is 24 inches. I just bought a bunch of 18-inch brooms, which are 6 inches shorter, but the supports go farther out because they're 6 inches shorter. They're good brooms. They have dual density bristles, a finer bristle in the middle and a tougher bristle on the outside. So hopefully they'll work really well. But please, everybody, let's take care of them.
That was a great description, Dave.
Yeah, you are a broom salesperson.
Right. I mean,
You could,
Is-
what kind of broom do you want, Brother Dave? Do you want a single bristle or a dual bristle?
I definitely want the dual. I'm curious now if they have a dual, if there's not a triple available.
I thought that was a multi-bristle.
Does it vacuum too?
That would be cool.
That's awesome.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and you get down to the next one down there, you guys, and you guys can all jump in there. But, we watched a trailer go out the other day, and it was one from last year. But everybody has to know, with the frozen materials right now, you cannot hit the side of an aluminum trailer and break the material loose.
The outside.
The outside. You cannot hit the outside. You can't even hit the inside because you just dent the inside.
Right.
But that is a double-walled aluminum trailer. Hitting it on the outside does not get to the inside, does not shake the stuff off the liner, does not do anything. Please, please do not hit the trailer with anything on the outside or the inside. It just dents them. They look like hell, and it gets you nowhere. It does absolutely nothing.
You ruin a $70,000 trailer, and if you want to see one, go look at T96 behind 0021.
Yep.
Hammer marks on the outside all the way down both sides.
Yep. Just to be clear, the driver of 21 didn't do that. That was a guy that no longer works here, but he just went down the whole side of the trailer.
Yep,
Bang,
absolutely
bang, bang,
ridiculous.
bang.
You wouldn't use a hammer and hit the side of your car to get the snow off the top, would you?
No, you wouldn't.
Well,
Those trailers are nicer than the side of my car, too.
yeah, this.
Yeah,
this
the wash
person
bay is
did-
taking all the time to keep them shiny, all that kind of stuff, and we go down and put dents down
Yeah.
the side of them.
I have to emphasize too, you're not going to dent a rock trailer, but you're darn sure going to pop the paint off every place you hit it with the hammer. So don't hit a rock trailer either.
Yeah,
with
I
a
shouldn't
hammer.
even have said
We've-
aluminum, right,
we-
Dave?
We've had that happen in the years
Just don't-
past, and we're
Yeah.
wowed by it. One hit with the hammer on paint or aluminum, and you see the damage, and you should be, oh my God,
That's a bad idea.
that's a bad idea.
Well, that's how you get frost off your personal car.
It is, yeah.
Just hit it with the hammer.
Hit it with a hammer? Oh, yeah. I do that all the time, every time it snows.
Oh man!
But, that's the kicker, though, too. When you hit it once and then you see the dent, my God, aren't you looking at the trailer?
Clearly
and then
not.
you hit it 40 more times.
Yeah.
I
I
bet you
remember-
there's 40 dents in that trailer.
Yeah, we sold the one rock trailer, but remember we had a different driver in one of the rock trailers at snow removal, and they just stood out there and beat on both sides of the trailer so much in one spot while the trailer was
it
in the
had
air.
a pattern.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We couldn't even figure out what happened until, it looked like someone took a, like shotcrete and hit the side of the trailer or something, because he just stood in one spot just pounding on the trailer on both sides trying to get the snow out. So I was like, what is that? What does that? And it was in such a weird area until we put the trailer up. It's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then the last one on the list here, I found it funny because I think Ken's the one that turned it in here. But over at Yard 23, the blocks behind the trucks are not bumpers.
Both yards, Kendrick just points it out for sure. Both yards, though, Jim, because we actually took here, we call it the red lot still, but in the back
Yeah.
of Denver Truck and Trailer, we had somebody back the one block. They pushed it back 2 feet and into the fence and bent the fence back.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
yeah. Sorry, Jim, I interrupted you.
No,
'cause
I
it's-
mean, so that's the reason you tear off mud flaps, because you don't know you backed into a block either.
yeah, apparently.
So you
Or
don't know you
the
hit
pile.
the pile.
Yeah.
Right. That's the thing. And gosh, we've done so many of these podcasts, and in the past, everybody was like, "Hey, it's just a lot of complaining and a lot of bitching and stuff like that. Try to keep it positive." How do you fix this stuff and make it positive?
I don't know, because I'm going to jump back up to the one there, Jim, where you mentioned it, but we didn't finish it, about how not to spin tires and burn rubber. Coming into the yard is the rest of that
Yeah.
sentence.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how many times I'll be walking across the driveway out here, and a truck will go to pull in here at the east yard, and the way the four tandems or the two axles, the four wheel ends, they get catty corner. You have a left front and a right rear. The left front's on the curb, the right rear's out in the street. So that means you have your left rear and your right front hanging in the gutter. Mm-hmm. All the weight are on the other two wheel ends. So the two opposite immediately spin. Even if you had your power divider locked in, you're stuck. You know what I mean? You're stuck. So doing a good job coming in slow, but now you're coming in so slow that you're stuck there, and don't gas on the throttle. Don't step down on that throttle pedal, especially with the automatics, because they just take off. And then as you're inching forward, those wheels, I'm exaggerating, but they're spinning at 10, 12 miles an hour. They hit and grab. That's the fastest way to blast the teeth right off a rear end and blow a rear end out. And all you're doing is coming in the yard. And I've seen trucks come in the yard, gas on it, because they hit that and they didn't go anywhere, so they gave it throttle. When it touched, they left 2.5 feet of dual spin marks where the wheels are spinning, pulling the truck forward.
That free one was still spinning.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for
it's crazy.
Yeah.
It sounds very stupid, but understand how things work. And when you come in the driveway, and I'm going to I regret saying what I'm about to say right now, because it's going to come back to haunt me, but after you walk the steer axle across nice and slow, in first gear, in manual, as those duals are approaching that dip, give it a little throttle. This is the part I'm regretting right now.
Give it a little throttle.
Give it a little throttle.
Yeah.
But you heard me say you're in manual mode, you're in first gear, so the two tandems just roll right across that dip at 1 or 2 miles an hour.
You let off of it.
Yes,
and then it rolls.
You've got the momentum, and it carried you across that. This is a driveway you come in every single day. I mean, it's a daily issue, and it sounds petty that we're picking on it, but it looks so bad. I mean, it looks so bad when it happens. I'm kind of dumbfounded by it. And, we're stuck here. We're stuck here watching it. It's all we see.
Yep.
So,
yeah. And for myself, Dave, I sometimes it's difficult when there's trucks lined up at the fuel island, but I also, a lot of times as I come down and made that turn, as I'm turning in, just as I get my steers on, I always turned it really hard so
Yes.
I wasn't across. I would call a J hook or a button turn, so my drives
Yes.
are lined up
you're
equally.
you're square with the driveway,
Right.
Versus at an angle across
Exactly,
it.
because I didn't want to do that. Just like you're saying,
Right.
I'm paying attention.
Yes.
Or and it does not when you're already in that position, but you can flip the power divider in, and it'll roll that little spot that you're telling to power through. It helps roll you through that spot too. But just like Dave said, you have to know your equipment and how it works.
And the want to be better.
Right. I was coming back from the gym the other day, and what's this heavy haul company right down the road? I guess we don't
High
need
Plains.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so guys trying to maneuver to back up onto the low boy, but he's pulling forward out of their driveway, and the same thing. He's on an angle, and must have been his right front drive axle's just zzz, and he's got somebody spotting him, keep telling him, come on, and he's
Yeah.
just zzz. I'm like, oh, he's about to shock load the shit out of that axle.
Right?
And sure enough, boom, it grabs and it lurches, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, man.
Yeah.
Ugly, right?
Yep.
Yeah, because coming in this driveway, I've gotten where I've, not paid attention, and you got that stuck, and I've just backed up.
Yeah.
Which is, super dangerous with the cars.
Yeah.
The way we have around it, but you can actually back up, and just so it doesn't look like that, Jam.
Yeah, if you're somebody that has trouble with that a lot, just lock them in before you get to the driveway, and off you go.
I mean, it that doesn't always fix it, because that's one wheel end on the front and one wheel end on the rear.
Yeah.
So, I mean, those two wheels, if you're coming in at an angle still,
Right.
are still the ones that are going to spin, that are spinning now.
Gotcha.
So it'll help. It'll help. It's better for sure, Jam. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I still want to just, I don't even know what the LCD displays on the new trucks cost, but just scratching those up and making them so they're unreadable, setting anything there, your cell phone, your gloves, your glasses, anything up there, just don't please set anything on those screens. That's the new advantage of the trucks and how cool they look and things like that. But, we're just, we have one of the trucks that the dash got tore up in mercilessly, or however you'd say it, because it's besides saying it's tore to F,
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mikey says you can't replace it.
No, we don't-
He can't replace it.
Yeah, we don't know how to fix it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And there's your second life of that truck.
Yeah.
It's ruined. Who wants to go buy a used truck with a great big hole in the dash?
Yeah, I'd skip over that one.
Yeah, right? Easily skip
Yeah,
over it.
why would you want to buy that truck?
Right.
Yeah.
Give me one with a good dash.
Yeah. And even if it's like you said, Dave, everybody makes mistakes. So you hit the trailer and you put a dent in it and you're like, Jesus Christ. You stop. You know what I mean? Whatever was clamped to this dash, it wrinkled the dash for quite a while and then tore a chunk out of it. When you see the dash wrinkling, stop. Quit doing it's hurting things. And the only, I just love to, if we did that to your personal vehicle, how would you feel?
Right.
And we got some guys here with some, and gals, damn nice cars.
Yep. Super Dave said it earlier about the brooms. Treat it like you own it.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you're not treating it like if you don't treat your things well, treat it like we own it. 'Cause
Yep.
we like to treat our stuff good.
Yeah. Who did we speak with yesterday? Did one of the culture interviews.
Dustin
Dustin.
Courier.
Courier.
Dustin. Yeah. He said, he learned so much when he owned his own truck. And he's like, wow, I learned what things cost and how to take care of them and not tear things up. And I'm like, yeah, it's a big difference when it comes out of your pocket. And we're asking you guys don't think it comes out of your pocket, but it comes out of your pocket.
Oh, heck yeah.
It sure does.
It does. And yeah,
Raises, bonuses, other benefits like insurance, right? If the company is losing money, then they cut back on all these benefits that
Yep.
people kind of take for granted, don't they?
Yeah, goes to that bottom line. Everything goes to the bottom line.
Dustin had like a price sheet in his back pocket or something. He had prices right at the tip of his tongue. He knew how much everything cost.
Sounds like he studies that Iowa 80 truck stop.
The Chrome Shop.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is interesting. You can get stuck there at trucker porn, if I can say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's more stuff.
Yeah, I mean, a prime example of that coming out of your pocket. I wanted to touch on this. We have that C-Mex job, running out of Arcosa to C-Mex, and everyone remarks about how our trucks look, how clean they are, how nice they are, and that C-Mex and Arcosa job, those are rough job sites when it gets foul weather. Mm-hmm. But we can protect our equipment by slowing down. And we happen to have a truck in the shop in here for repairs today that I don't think I've seen a truck that muddy. I mean, the last time I think Jim and I saw a truck that muddy, when the truck pulled in, we fired the driver. That day, that minute. He didn't even park. He looked at me and goes, "What do you want me to do?" And I'm like, "Nothing, you're fired. Just park, you can leave the truck there, whatever you want to do." Like right here at the driveway at the front door, it was done.
So you're going to fire this guy?
Well, needs a talking to, that's for sure, Jam. And I guess I know things are muddy. I know these are rough conditions, but my point, my relevance to this, you guys, is that it comes out of your pocket in some way. It may not financially come out of your pocket, but it's going to take the wash bay the time to wash that truck as it would to wash 3 to 4 other trucks.
Right.
So what you've done to your fellow truck driver that wants his truck washed and the next person's truck and the next person's truck, we're going to be able to wash 3 trucks, as dirty as that is, versus 10 in one night. And those are the things, you didn't gain a load on that haul by going fast. You just jacked your truck, and it's going to look like that. And I don't know, I guess when like Jim and I and Super Dave, man, when we learned to drive, we had to wash our own truck, we had to grease our own truck, we had to change our own flat tires, we had to change our own oil. You know what I mean? We had to do all that. So by God, when it came time for me to wash my truck, I don't want to have to spend the time to wash all that shit off. Right. I could wash that truck in 30 minutes versus that's going to take 3 hours.
Right.
And I guess, you have to think of those things ahead of time. You have to be conscious and aware that, what's great about working here is, I don't have to wash it. No, but you can help someone out that does.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I guess that's the relevance of what I'm getting at. When it comes out of your pocket, it's going to cause the rest of the fleet to look bad because yours looks that much worse.
But how can you tell this driver was negligent? So when you look at that truck, Brother Dave, How can you tell he just wasn't driving through some muddy conditions? How do you know he was going too fast?
Well, I'll give you a little tip, Jam. Here's a little tip, man. You have a front bumper that's in front of your wheels, right? Mm-hmm. That's the first thing on that truck. Like when you get out and touch it or drive it into a wall, the first thing that's going to hit is that front bumper, right?
Absolutely.
Well, how does the whole front bumper get covered in mud?
Speed.
Right. You're going so fast down that muddy road that you're actually throwing mud up in the air. You're splashing mud out in front of you so far, so fast, and you're going so fast that then you're driving through the mud you're spraying. So when the front bumpers are covered in mud, you need to slow down, my friend.
Yeah, and I hate to, I'm not at all arguing with you, Dave, but I just want to make the point. It's half the grill, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
headlights, it's even on the headlights.
yeah. So you're not only going fast enough, you've covered the bumper, you've covered 4 feet up the grill.
Yeah.
And I don't, part of my closing stuff on here is trying to take, when you speak to somebody and you're having conversations and, whether it's with a loved one or whatever, and I'll go over it later, is to take your emotion out of it and try to not to speak with emotions. And there's at times where there's probably trying to get a point across to be fired up, but not to get upset over this is so hard for me. The mud flaps, the way that truck looks, and for people to think that little of the big picture. When us four sitting here in the positions we have to think of everybody. And that individual out there, whether it's one of our drivers or anybody that just truly thinks of themselves, God, it's just so aggravating that they just don't think of anybody else. And the truck's a mess. And I even told Pat, I was up there, we had a starting issue with the loader. So I was up there most of the day Saturday. And my Saturday work, no big deal. Finally got the loader started. I went and cleaned all the snow off so we could run, and it would be good for Monday. And then I had to go back up there Sunday because my wallet fell out of my pants in the loader, so I had to go back up there. And by Monday morning, I told everybody, I'm like, man, Sunday being up there, it's going to be muddy. It's going to be a mess, And I asked Pat to ask everybody to slow down, and yeah, Pat can't watch everything trying to load trucks. And I just don't know how you take your emotions out.
Right. You're passionate.
When you figure it out, let me know.
Right?
Because it is hard.
Calmly and trying to get the point across.
Yeah, because seriously, all that truck did was create other trucks not to be washed.
Yeah.
Right.
That's all we gained from that. Is now we can focus on washing that truck instead of 5 others.
Yeah. And you can't tell me that gray shit up there is good for the paint.
Yeah.
Good for the chrome. It's got to be getting in your springs and your brakes and your calipers and whatever else is the shit in.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I drove through a mud puddle one time in a Jeep, and that was it.
Yes.
It gets everywhere.
Yeah,
It's
the guys that just
that's not worth it.
Right.
No, I don't want to do that again. Go ahead.
Right. But who had to clean it?
I did.
Exactly, Jam. Yeah, there's that level, and that makes a difference. You know what I mean? It truly does make a difference when you have to clean it or you're affected by the cleanliness of it.
Yeah, so I don't mind cleaning it, but what I minded is some of it won't get clean.
Right.
Some of it's just going to be like, oh, this guy drove through a mud puddle one time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's a real annoying part is it'll never be back the way it was.
Right.
Yeah, and you got to count, shout outs to our wash guys and gals. Fantastic job. But at some point, they're going to know they have other trucks to wash.
Right.
And they're not going to wash everything on this truck like it should be to be brought back to zero.
Right.
Just not going to happen.
You could have the driver do it himself.
I bet it would make a difference for next time.
I bet. Yeah. Another thing on the list here is load gauges. You guys good on the mud?
I suppose.
Just trying to calm you down here a little bit.
I don't know that this conversation is going to calm down. Just moving from mud to load gauges.
Well, we're going to move to load gauges anyway. Guys, you got these digital load gauges on your trucks. You got to learn how to use them. A lot of these places that we're going right now, you got to know the weights of your truck, and if they don't have a scale there, you could still get pretty close by knowing how to use your load gauges the right way. There's no reason for you to be overweight if you have load gauges on your truck.
That right there is the main statement.
Right.
But people won't get that, Jam. You know, there is no reason if your gauges are calibrated and you used them, you shouldn't be overweight.
Yeah.
It just shouldn't make
simple.
any difference. And not the weights we've been caught at overweight.
Yep.
And I don't know. Again, I don't know what it's happened up at our Arcosa, loading to go to CEMEX. You know, we had Pat thought he put an extra bucket on one of the guys, and they both talked about it, and the driver went ahead and left. And then when we got the weight ticket, of what he actually hauled, and is like, oh, Pat messed up. No, you're there with your truck, with gauges. It's relatively flat all over that place. You could trim, you could back up and dump your load, you could do anything you wanted, but no, we chose to haul the load and then try to blame Pat. And then call everybody and go, oh, look, here's my weight slip here. I mean, it's just more,
I didn't know what I weighed until I got there.
Yeah, it's just more bullshit of not doing your damn job. See, that's where I can't take the emotion out of it, Jan. I can't.
Well, is this too loud when I get in on the mic? But
Hold on.
who is the captain of that ship?
Well, they sunk, right? The Titanic sunk.
Yeah.
Because you know why? Because the Titanic was having to go too fast. Let's see how fast we can go across the ocean.
Yeah.
And it just, they splashed some mud on top of their little boat. It was ice. Put a hole in the side of the son of a bitch. God, it's just so, excuses too. They are like assholes. Everyone's got one.
Yep. Some of them are stinky and smelly, and you don't like to hear them.
Yeah. And you're just going to shit again, so let's just stop wiping.
Right? Yeah. Good point.
I love this podcast.
I don't think the load gauge conversation calmed us down.
Oh, man.
Because
Well-
it's a tool you don't use. I mean, how many times do we have to say that?
Yeah, $500 worth of tool we've put in every truck. I mean, it is literally, I think with the exception of, because we'll be getting rid of the other 2 Freightliners that we haven't gotten rid of, or 3. I made sure we had those gauges installed in the 5 Freightliners we've kept, and I believe they're installed already.
Yep.
I could be wrong. And we're down to 3 single drives that are in action that we own. So there is 3 trucks.
Marty doesn't have those gauges in 0029. So I think that first generation of those Pete's don't have them either.
Okay.
So there's 10 of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the
Well-
load gauges,
Or 5.
I'm thinking, man, I'm working through that because was he not part of the?
Oh, no, he was the 5, 5, and 5. 5 Kenworths, 5 Pete's, and 5 Freightliners.
Yeah.
So there's
Yep.
just 5 of them, Dave.
Okay.
And I think some
So-
of those have went away.
So of 97 trucks, 7 don't have those gauges.
nice.
But we've still gone to the port and got an overweight ticket. Right. We've still hauled over our maximum heavyweight permit, right?
Yeah.
And what's the other one? I don't know. There's something else, and I'm just like, I'm wowed by it.
yeah.
Yeah, and we've talked about this CEMEX job. For one thing, it's a good job, and it should be. It's not rocket scientists or a rocket science to haul the job, but CEMEX. We've told everybody they're after safety. And what if we blew a hydraulic line? Dave brought this up the other day. And it's not like we're not going to blow a hydraulic line at 85,000. But the chances of blowing it at 93 or 95,000 just increases.
Yeah.
And it increases on tipping that trailer over because you got, I don't know, 5 more tons? Is that the math?
Yeah. And just to boot, Jim, we're hauling it today, and they're having problems with their loader or their loader operator up there. One of the guys called, and there's 16 loads that haven't been pushed up there. So we're not just backing up to a perfect spot and dumping.
Exactly. So the best places to probably dump are being used up.
Yes.
But no, let's go charge on. Let's go fast through the mud and haul heavy. That sounds like JFW, doesn't it?
Not my JFW.
Yeah.
Not ours either, Jam, but apparently we're having problems with it.
The nice thing about the load gauges, guys, is it'll give you the confidence to go down the road knowing that you're legal or within JFW's policies.
Yeah.
So-
And I don't know how many loads a day each truck hauls, but each load you haul, you have the opportunity to check that gauge.
Right.
And I just, we talk about calibrating them. They just don't get out of calibration that much. And if they are, it's 20 pounds, 50 pounds. It could be off by just the amount of mud now stuck to your truck or trailer. No, I'm being dead serious. Because your tear weight went up.
I know. I agree.
And it's changed the accuracy of that gauge.
But it's not enough to get an overweight ticket. That's the funny part.
Not over 1,000 pounds.
Right?
So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
use
just-
the tools that's been given to you and that is your opportunity to be better. Those are the things.
Yeah, and this is the Thanksgiving week, and you talk about Thanksgiving, and we have so much. We do so much to be thankful for. I am so thankful we have load gauges now. But not if you don't use them. You just mentioned it, Dave. We washed our own trucks, and then Super Dave went to washing them. I didn't want to stick Super Dave he had, 12 or whatever trucks it was at the time to wash his ass off, come down on Sunday, be away from his family, bust his ass. I wasn't going to dirty my truck up, like that for Super Dave to come wash. You know what? I'm grateful we have a wash bay, but not when nobody else gives a shit about it.
Yeah.
It's so disheartening.
Well, moving on to some more uplifting news. As you know, the elections are over. We were joking around last week because we pre-recorded it saying Haiganal was the governor and this and that.
Oh, yeah.
All the politics. Well,
Yeah, not knowing, right?
Yeah, not knowing, and obviously she's not the governor, and
Right.
we had some 3M stickers basically on our truck supporting Heidi and Joe Day.
Joe Day.
Right,
Yeah.
so election's over, the stickers have come off, but we did have one driver quit because of our political beliefs, right, and that was Rudy. Well, I'm assuming this is his wife, Erica D. Guerrero. She wrote us a nice review on Apple Podcasts. I'm going to go ahead and read it to you guys and see what you think. So it's 1 star, and it was titled Trash. And it says, a company that forces its employees to drive around with political propaganda is just that, trash. This company has multiple employees that are immigrants or come from migration from Mexico or Central America. Mind you, the pits the work with most of its employees are also Mexicans, shoving a political message from Heidi, who seems to think immigrants are at fault for drug overdose, is straight criminal. Heidi, quote unquote, and Colorado's status as a sanctuary state to combat the flow of fentanyl. The owner will force their employees to drive around carrying propaganda that even themselves are afraid of planting on their own vehicles because of their coward nature, but seem to think their employees' safety isn't important. Stop forcing political views at any workplace. Display those on your own cars, not working trucks, placing your employees at risk. Any driver that reads this, especially Mexicans, walk away from this place. Denver needs drivers in other places. Walk away with dignity, do a silent quit, and hurt them in the money. What do you guys think about that? That's a pretty scathing review.
I think the thing about reading it, Jam, or at least bringing it out in the open is, some of the transparency that JFW tries to have here, and this is a person's opinion, and that's what we talk about as our culture, is we appreciate their opinion. To me, that's the great thing about America, is everybody can have their opinion.
That's our freedom of speech.
Freedom of speech.
First Amendment.
First Amendment. And
Yep.
we did, I know Super Dave, we just discussed it, and you said, I think we're all a little tired of talking about politics, and this is a trucking company, and we should talk about mud flaps and getting our truck muddy and hitting blocks and not spinning our not spinning our tires and not breaking our brooms. That's what we should be focused on, but anybody could see this review, and I guess just the point of we seen it. We're glad somebody feels that they can make that review, and we move past it, and try to make ourselves better. Maybe next year we put stickers on for both people. Who knows? I don't think that'll happen, but
Yeah, in 2 years anyway. One thing I just don't agree. I don't agree with the review. I can understand there was some emotion behind the review.
right.
When it says we're putting our drivers, our employees at risk, who are we putting them at risk with?
I mean, I had a few drivers come to me and say they were flipped off or, they were cut off.
Right.
And didn't know why and kind of associated it with the sticker.
So I'm assuming by people that don't support Heidi. So are those people that violent that we're putting our drivers at risk? Do
Yeah.
you see what I'm getting at?
Yeah.
Like,
No,
Totally.
Dude,
these,
if they don't
Well,
agree with you, they risk cutting you
They're
off.
going to harm you.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that seems intolerant.
That was sure never the intent.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So definitely not trying to put people at risk. I mean, we would think that people could have their own political views without it resulting in violence. And if your political party results or goes to violence because they don't believe in something, I mean, maybe we need to look at that a little bit.
Yeah.
And the thing is the party we were pulling for lost.
Right.
Legally lost.
Yep.
Didn't win the election. You move on. You
What?
wait.
I'm still waiting for a recount.
Just
Just joking.
You don't call people names, and you move on, and you in 2 years, Jam, like you corrected me there. We do something different.
Right.
So yeah.
I like the new stickers we got on the trucks or the trailers.
To listen to the podcast.
Channel 23 stickers.
Right.
Right.
They're awesome. So, but yeah, I do
I'm
like.
sure when Joe Rogan sees that, he's going to be upset.
Oh yeah, he doesn't have stickers.
No
No
way.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jocko Willink, he doesn't have stickers. Come
We
on.
should see if we could get either of those guys for guests.
I mean, they call me all the time, want to know our stats. So, anyway, if you listen to this podcast and you hear this review, I mean, I think everybody knows where we stand on immigration and racism and stuff like that. We don't tolerate that here. Like, we love everybody, no matter what color, race, whatever your political belief is. We love you.
Yep.
So.
And if you want to come have a conversation, come have a conversation.
Oh yeah.
I would love that. Maybe I will learn something, or maybe you will learn something. You
Right.
never know.
Maybe you both will learn something.
Right.
Wouldn't that all make us better?
It would make a better place, that's for sure.
What I also found interesting was Rudy left us a review 1 year ago, and it was a 5-star review, and it said, "Great idea. As a truck driver, I frequently listen to podcasts to keep me entertained and awake while moving down the road. This is a good way to keep the fleet informed and aware of all things related to the company and the other drivers as well." He changed it to a 1-star, but it was a 5-star. So thank you for your review, Rudy.
I think that's back to that thing. If we could all take our emotions out,
Yep.
and it's tough to tell between anger and jealousy and passion and all the other stuff. It's still an emotion.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, moving on to questions from the audience. Chris Beam wants to know if we can install a second scale at CMEX.
Boy, that would be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah, when we looked at that job the day we were there, Jam. Well, we've looked at it a couple of times, and we hauled it last year. The day me and Dave were there, it
was empty.
Yeah, there was one truck in, one truck
Yeah.
there, and we go to haul in it. And, there's like 100 trucks.
Yeah, it's
like
crazy.
the JFW curse.
A lot of them are our trucks.
Right.
The way Chris explained it, he's like, if there's 3 trucks scaling in ahead of you, there's three trucks scaling
Right.
out ahead of you.
Right.
Yeah.
He was there for an hour yesterday. So
Oh,
yeah, still got 3 loads plus 2 other loads. He did okay, but
sorry, Chris.
definitely not the most efficient. So
Yeah, it's just double frustrating because, okay, I get we have to scale in, right? I get that. We need the weight of what we hauled.
Right.
But we really can't just use the same tear weight. You know what I mean? We have to tear out every load. And just to explain why, is that system is auto-generated.
Right.
So until you scale back through
It doesn't know your tear.
Exactly. It does not know your tear. So anyway, a bit of a
and the system and it does suck for us. You know, the plus to it for the drivers, which it's affecting you guys from getting your loads, is what Dave says it's auto generated. Is by the next morning at 10 o'clock, we get a report on everything we've hauled. We okay it and say yes, those were all the loads, because we've had a couple tickets that were wrong and stuff like that. That's all done then. That next day by 10 o'clock, all the loads are approved from the day before.
Yeah.
So that's how robust their system is.
It auto generates at 3 a.m. and we have to approve it by 10 a.m.
What time
every
does
day.
What time did it do it on daylight savings?
2:17.
Got it.
It's been a little behind because it fell back, though.
Dope.
Soup, you want to hit us for the high road hauling?
I can do that, Jam. I can do that. So we're going to shift gears, try to stay on the positive side of things here. Have you ever
Bit
heard
of a rough go.
Help us out, Dave. Bring us back around, buddy.
Yeah.
Get us back up on the high road.
So this is about Hunter Biden.
Wow. Oh
Dave,
my
you just
gosh.
said you were tired of politics.
That was better than his dad joke.
Hunter
I don't
Biden.
know where that came from.
That was your outside voice. That's where it came from.
All in the delivery.
Yep.
Man.
He crushed it.
Have you ever heard of positive affirmations?
Oh, yeah.
Amen.
Right? Well, self-help books often promote the power of positive daily affirmations. But if you've never tried them before, the idea can seem incredibly awkward. Telling yourself how awesome you are can seem bizarre. Many people swear by it to create positive changes in everything from finances and career to relationships and self-confidence. If you're a skeptic, it doesn't hurt to understand how and why positive affirmations became so popular. Yes, there is a genuine theory and a fair amount of neuroscience behind the practice. What is a positive affirmation? Put simply, they are positive phrases or statements used to challenge negative or unhelpful thoughts. Practicing positive affirmations can be extremely simple. All you need to do is pick a phrase and repeat it to yourself. You may choose to use a positive affirmation to motivate yourself, encourage positive changes in your life, or boost your self-esteem. If you frequently find yourself getting caught up in negative self-talk, positive affirmations can be used to combat these often subconscious patterns and replace them with something more productive. Think of it as a mental fake it till you make it. They say you are what you think. If you think you're destined to fail, then you will. But if you believe you're in charge of your own success and you'll achieve your dreams, then you will. Here are some positive affirmations that might change your day. 1, I can, I will, end of story. I feed my spirit, I train my body, I focus my mind, it's my time. I am in charge of my life. I am the hero of my own life. I will not compare myself to strangers on the internet. I will never do that. But I am choosing and not waiting to be chosen. I am worthy. I am loved. I am enough. I am my light. I have the power to create change. I believe in good things coming. I am resilient and can get through anything. I will accomplish everything that needs to get done. I claim my desires. I hold great visions. I am ready to receive. I am going to make you so proud, and you means you. My presence is my power. When you really want it, you are unstoppable. And I am love. I am purpose. I was made with divine intention. So those are all positive statements that might bring you up in a time when you're down and get you through some adversity. The quote this week is great by William Shakespeare. We know what we are, but know not what we may be. Ooh. So there's some positive thoughts to help you get through the day.
Oh, yeah.
That is great, Dave.
Love it.
Yeah, and it's another thing dealing with your feelings, Dave. Or
It's about emotions, isn't it?
Emotions, because to have that emotion that I can do it, I can get this done. I can have a good day. It's like waking up and making your bed, like we tell that story, that's that first feeling of accomplishment and leads you through your day. It's so, yeah.
World wouldn't be any fun if we were all like Spock. Had no emotions.
No emotions. Yeah,
Take your emotions out of it.
We need one person like that.
In a group sometimes, Jim, right? Yeah. We just need that one person that's just a base.
Yep. Why don't we give away some more money? That sounds like fun.
That sounds good. I wish I liked the letters. I'd love to go, and the winner is Alpha Baker Charlie.
You can do it.
Nobody wins.
You can decipher these, Jim. Like if it's a 1, you can say the first number is between 0 and 2. The second number, if it's a 3, can be between 2 and 4. Wow. Right? Really confuse somebody. Go, what number is that?
So just to be clear, this is the last $100 we're giving away?
I think it is the last $100.
And what if this person doesn't claim it?
Oh, we'll take it to next week. Okay. That's only fair.
All right, so next week's the last week.
Last week.
Because I don't think this person listens.
Oh, the challenge, yes. Right?
Yes.
Okay. See, I don't think that's fair that we know. We didn't used to know. Unless you read the email, you don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't know, now you know.
But,
Dave, do you know?
I don't know. Yeah.
I read the email, I know.
I didn't read the email.
Everybody's dying for the number right now, right? Okay, so not to confuse it with the first one, because this one also starts with a 0 and a 1. 0126.
0126. I know who you are, 0126.
Yeah.
Come get your money.
Yep, absolutely.
Anybody got any final thoughts?
I do. I'll go. Jumping in.
Do it.
How's that? The water's deep and cold.
No emotions,
Hope
please.
you can hear me. No emotions. I'm out. No, we started the podcast with giving thanks. We talked about Thanksgiving. I had a killer Thanksgiving joke. I thought it was awesome. The masked potatoes.
Oh, that was the one that...
I'm going to use that tomorrow. Yeah. I'm going to combine it with my pirate. I'm going to have a pirate.
There you go.
Might wear a pirate costume for Thanksgiving. I don't know. That was such a good joke, Dave.
I'm going to wear a pilgrim
Am I invited
costume.
to your house? Because I might just skip it.
You should just go as masked potatoes.
Just masked potato.
I could probably pull that off. Anyway, no. There's been a lot of bitching in this, right? Which we don't know how to have these discussions and convey the issues and explain the why they're issues, right?
Right.
So without having the conversation, and that's, you're back to the emotion of it, how, both Jim and I take it personally when we know we can't, but trust me, we're vested, right? There's a reason it makes us emotional about it, or we get, you can say mad or upset or whatever the case, however you want to describe the emotion, it doesn't matter. But to be better, those are the things that affect us, right? They affect our company. They affect how we look. They affect every aspect of us. And I don't know another way, even though we started off giving thanks, it sounded, like it became, and we've talked about this before, is to be sure these podcasts aren't bitch sessions. Well, I mean, we brought it up before we even started. Like, it looks like everything on this list is a bitch. The brooms, the release agent sprayers, the driving too fast on the muddy roads, losing mud flaps, not to spin pulling the driveway, screwing up the dashes, hitting the sides of the trailer. These are all issues that if we don't discuss them, just continue and they grow, and pretty soon the whole fleet looks like a heap of junk. Right? Everything is damaged. There's paint chipped off of everything. Every trailer has dents. No trucks are clean. The just every issue, right? Why should we bother putting in load gauges? Why? If we don't use them, why should we have them? I mean, $500 on every truck. That's $50,000 we've spent on gauges that don't get used. That's painful, right? So those are the things when we get passionate, when we get upset, when it sounds like we're bitching. The only way we can do it is to discuss it and talk about the reasons why, right? So I guess I want to give thanks that we have the ability to have these things and that we have the people to understand these discussions, and hopefully they don't take it as bitching, even though I know if I were listening to it, just being a part of it, I feel like I'm bitching, but I don't know what else to say about it. It's discussions we have to have. It's the only way we can grow. It's the only way we can get better. We talked about the freedom of speech, being able to say what we want. We put stickers on the trailers to say, hey, this is a person who we believe would make Colorado better for all of us, not just JFW. There's just all sorts of reasons for the why we believe it would make it better for every individual here. So anyway, I guess I want to say thank you, and I am happy to give thanks, even though we did a lot of complaining or pissing and moaning, but I think it's relevant, it's necessary, it's that discussion again, and we have to do it. We have to continue to talk about it, and we have to continue to talk about these things. So that's all I got.
Appreciate you not getting emotional.
Yeah, that's kind of like what my closing is too, Dave. When we talked about it, is all of us, well, not all of us, but usually in any conversation, just like the one we just have, our emotions are charged.
Yes. Yes.
And
that's a good description.
And you just tried in your best way is the hardest message can be and should be conveyed kindly. And
That's good relationship advice.
right? That no matter what, and when I researched this, Jim, they were friend to friend, husband to wife, whoever to a significant other, a salesman to a client. Your message should be able to be conveyed kindly.
Supervisor to employee.
Yeah, exactly, 100%. Exactly, Jim. And we can't, because our emotions are charged, and when you talked about all those stuff, Dave, I was thinking what it leads me to is just everybody being angry.
Right.
If they're not washed, if we didn't, let's say we tried to do something with the stickers. We tried something. Maybe it wasn't for everybody, but we tried.
Sure.
Right? But how come that can't be conveyed kindly instead of possibly being flipped off or cut off?
Right.
Or maybe this review. That's not kindly. But again, we're charged emotions. And a lot of those emotions are stuff that's triggered in our own memories. We can sit here and I've had great Thanksgivings and great Christmases and holidays and stuff. But at some point, I've got some memories where, whether it's, having to wash my own truck and pissed off because I drove through that mud puddle, like you said, right, Jim? And it leaves you having to fix this. So, yeah, I guess if everybody could try to convey a message with as much kindness as they can, and then that would hopefully lead to the least amount of resistance in the conversation. And that's one thing I would be thankful for, because no matter how kindly we say this, Dave, or how emotionally charged, like you said, we're just trying to bring a message that no matter what will make every one of us better. That's the in thing that I think all of us struggle seeing.
Yeah.
And together we're better.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Soup?
Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. I know a lot of people are going to listen to the podcast maybe after Thanksgiving comes and goes, but this should be really an annual thing. I mean, any day, 365, right? People should be grateful for what they have and not be pissed off about what they don't have. The Thanksgiving holiday started with the early settlers of this country giving thanks for their harvest that year. And they shared that harvest with the Indians, and they invited all the people in their area over to enjoy and give thanks for the bountiful rewards that they had from their hard work that year, and that they wouldn't go hungry that winter. So everybody just keep that in mind when they're celebrating tomorrow with their families, that we all have a lot to be thankful for. We live in the greatest country on earth, and let's spread that joy to our friends and family and be thankful for everything.
Nice. I want to talk about emotions and my cat. No, I'm just kidding. I do want to talk about emotions. I don't have a cat. But if somebody, I'm really good if somebody just attacks me where I could just kind of blow it off. Like, I know who I am. I know what I am. If you say something bad about me, great. If you attack my family, I have a little bit more trouble in that area. You know, I get more like a pit bull. You know, and JFW is my extended family. It's my work family. And one thing I do on a daily basis is I check our reviews on like Google, and you know, I check all of our social media and stuff like that. And man, for the longest time, it's been a lot of positivity. Somebody on Reddit actually mentioned like, oh, all their reviews are from their employees. Well, great. Like, that kind of tells you who we are, where our employees want to say good things about us. There's some bad ones on Indeed. There's some bad ones on Google. But ever since we took a political stance, if you will, and we put stickers on trailers, man, the reviews just been flying in. Somebody will leave a 1-star review and not even say anything because they want to hurt us, you know, in a very passive-aggressive way, you know, or they're going to leave us a bad review because of who we believe in politically, or we're going to get a review on our Apple Podcasts. And I don't mind that because it's a freedom of speech. And I'm glad we got to see that, to know how somebody else feels instead of a driver just being gone and we're like, well, what happened to that guy? You know what I mean? But the one thing I do know is I know JFW heart. I know the hearts on the leadership team. I know Jim and Dave's heart, Super Dave's heart. I know how much we bust our asses to make this a great place to work. And no matter what our political beliefs are, we try to make this company great for everybody. So I'm thankful to work here. I'm thankful to work at a place where we can have discussions, disagreements, arguments, you know, a couple yelling matches here and there. But at the end of the day, we're still family, and we're all fighting for the same thing, and that's to make JFW a great place to work. Whether we have different paths or ideas how to get there is a different story, but nobody wants to make JFW a bad place to work.
Right.
So, you know, if me and Super Dave, you know, just complete transparency, we had to stop and pause the podcast to see if we even wanted to discuss, should we read this review or not? You know what I mean? And that's because we want to be transparent. We want to be better. And just because the room's divided, like, oh, I don't think we should read it. Well, I think we should read it, or whatever the case may be. It's just because we want to provide something great for everybody. So I don't know. I'm all over the place as usual, but that's my final thought. Have a great Thanksgiving, everybody. Be safe. Watch out for the drunk drivers. Overeat a little bit. That's the time to do it. I'm actually not going to be too concerned about my food program. So anyway, good to be back. I think next week maybe we'll have a guest on the podcast. We'll have to set that up.
Yeah.
If we can. And yeah.
Yeah, great, Jam. Great final thoughts. Good way to look at it. It is truly I'm glad you mentioned the transparency.
Yeah.
You know, of trying to see both sides.
And then everyone here wants to be the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No one is maliciously doing anything.
Exactly.
You know, the tearing off of the mud flaps, the coming in the driveway, the trucks. I don't think any of that is malicious.
No,
right? It's not.
Never. We want it to be great for everyone, not just a certain group of people. So
Absolutely.
Yep.
Good call.
Yep.
All right. We should get into the creed
Oh, yeah.
and get out of here.
We should.
Well, let's do it.
The creed.
But-
Okay.
Everybody ready?
Yep.
Yep.
Together
we face and overcome all that stands before us. Together we are accident-free. Together we joyfully create honest value for those we serve.
Together we celebrate our differences and
Respect
respect
those
with whom we work.
Together we're accountable for
our words and our actions. Together we are the JFW family.
Super Dave, did you did you mess up a line in the creek?
Man, I sure did. I don't know what's up with that.
Man, that's the first. Let me
tell ya.
Let me write this down. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving,
Happy
everybody.
Thanksgiving, everybody.
See y'all.